Alright, here's our video on medians and centroid lengths. I have another video on the median and the centroid if you want to review it, if you so wish. Well, we know the centroid is the center of the circle. So let me get another page and show that. There it is in the center. And we can call it anything. Well, let's just call it G for now. We have a G there. Centroid G. And you can see these dotted lines, right? They're going from the midpoint. This is a midpoint. We'll say midpoint A. The midpoint, the middle point between two vertices. Well, let's call the vertices Z, maybe X over there, maybe Y. And we have our midpoints. We can say midpoint B, midpoint C. So from the midpoint A, cutting right through the middle of the triangle, which is the centroid, going all the way to the vertex Y, that's a median. And you can see we have three of them. There's one from the vertex X straight through, right through the median, the centroid, into the midpoint C, and guess where the other one is. That's it, you got it. Trying to make our lines. So there we got it. We have three medians and one centroid. And we could figure out the lengths. We could figure out the lengths of different parts of the median. For example, there could be let's look at XC, this entire line XC. We can also say then line XG, which is the longer part of one of them. And then there's GC. Oops, almost made a little X there. Let's say GC. So we have just a line there for show. So XC, let's say XC, we'll just say XC was 6. So from X over here all the way to C, we'll say is 6 units. Well, you could find the length of XG and GC because XG, the longer one, is always going to be 2/3 of the entire length. So 2/3 of 6. And the shorter line will always be 1/3. Always. 2/3 of whatever the length is. In this case, it's 6. Fix that 6. So 2/3 of 6 is 4. And 1/3 of 6 is 2. And you add them together, you get 6. So this would be 4. And this will be 2. And another thing to know is that the shorter line will always be will always be half of the longer line. So if you have, let's say, and we'll do some problems like that so you can see it. So you can see 4, 2 is half of 4, or you just double the shorter line and you'll get the longer line. So let's clear that out. Let's do a couple of problems. If we can find the clear out button, there we go. Change the color. Alright, so let's say we'll just use we'll use U, and maybe we'll use K over here. Maybe we'll put X for the centroid. Doesn't matter what these letters are. Let's just use those for now. Let's say that we know, let's say you're trying to find XK, the shorter line, XK, from X to K. You're trying to find that line. And you already know that UX, the longer line, is 8. What would be XK? Remember what I said? So XK will be half of that. So just divide it by 2, right? So we know that it will be 4. So XK will be 4. If you double 4, you get 8. And let's see if it's correct, because we know now that 8 has to be 2/3 of the entire length. What's the entire length? Well, the entire length will be 12, because 8 plus 4 is 12. So 2/3 of 12, guess what? Equals 8. And 1/3 of 12 is 4. So that's all you have to do. Now they get a little more difficult as they go on. Let's look at that also. Okay. So let's say now we have one with algebra. You're going to see those with algebra. Let's say, well, let's label them first. Let's say we have E over here. One of the midpoints is E. and the vertex would be, let's say, whatever, V. Doesn't matter, right? And we'll have, maybe the centroid will say Q. Again, the letters really don't matter. So let's say, here's the question. Find X. There's no X. What do you mean find X? Well, you'll see. If, let's say, EQ equals X plus 4/5, and EV equals 8/5 X plus 1/10. See if you can figure that out. Actually, I meant QV, not EQ. Let me fix that. I can erase this. We'll get the E out of there. Gotta get a better eraser. Taking my time today. Now let's say find X if QV. That's what I meant. Really doesn't matter. We could have done both, right? And if I can find a pen, we can get this going. So over here we'll say QV, right? So QV is the longer side. Gotta get my line skills here going. What is that? Yeah, I had to erase that, right? Gotta practice my line skills here. So if we just draw a line, let's see if we can do it this time. All right, somewhat close. There we go. Got our line going over there. Now, what we mean by X is what's in the equation. We got to find out what number is X that could solve this. So what do we know? Well, we said we had VQ or QV. It doesn't matter what it is. But we know that QV is this. That's what QV is. And EV is the total the length of the line. EV, all the way to EV. So what we know is this. So let me just try to make this smaller. We'll change the color here. We know that QV is 2/3 of the entire length. Remember, it's 2/3 of it. So we can say that 2/3 of, and we're timesing, right? Of means multiplication of 8/5x plus 1/10. 2/3 of that should equal X plus 4/5. Should equal what QV is. Because QV, again, is, remember, 2/3. This is 2/3. And that would be 1/3. So now do you see it? So now we just distribute. What do you get when you distribute? Again, you're distributing the 2/3 right in there. You can simplify if you wish. So here we're going to have 16 what? 16/15 X. Don't forget the X. Distributing it in. Plus what? Plus 2/30 is going to equal X plus 4/5. Want to pause the tape and try the rest? Now remember, you have two X's over here. Let's get rid of one X. So, and it is one X actually, right? There's a 1 there, but it's invisible. So we can minus the X here. And if you want to put a 1 there, it's fine. So when you get 16/15 minus 1, we'll do that first. Put a line over here. And you'll get, and we'll change the color. Otherwise it gets a little blurry. So 16/15 minus 1, basically that's what you're saying. You're going to get 1/15 X. Right? Plus 2/30 or 1/15 equals now 4/5. So I'll pause it again for you. Actually, you have to pause it yourself. I can't pause it for you. So again, we're just doing straight algebra over here. So again, let's just minus the 2/30 on both sides. Minus 2/30 or 1/15. So it's 4/5 minus 2/30. Let's put a big line over here. Change the color again. Give it red. So now we have 1/15 x equals 4/5 minus 2/30. And that will give us 11/15. Now we're just going to divide the 1/15 on both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. And that will give us that x equals 11. So rewind that if you need to. Let's do one more. So, and by the way, just remember the rules that the longer line of the median will always be 2/3 of the total length, and the shorter line will always be 1/3 of the length. Okay, let's try one. Let's try another one. Let's say that we have K over here. Let's say the median is L. Maybe we have an E over here. And let's say you got to find X again. Find X if KL equals 7x plus 1 and LE equals 2x plus 5. So see if you can figure that one out. Pause the tape if you need to. So one thing we should know about this is that we know that a KL plus LE will give us the total median. And the total median is KE. And we know that 2/3 of KL plus 1/3 of LE will give us KE. So we know that 7x plus 1, which is KL, plus 2x plus 5 equals KE. So what is KE? Just combine like terms. 7x plus 2x is 9x, and 1 plus 5 is 6. So 9x plus 6 equals KE. And we just need to know what x is. So we can just take any one line. We can say now that let's just take KL. 2/3 of 9x plus 6 will give us what KL is. And once we know x is, or once we know what KL is, we'll know what LE is. So just perform that. 2/3 of 9x plus 6. So 2/3 times 9, right? You're going to have 18/3x plus 12/3 will give us KL. Change the color. Give out a little arrow. So 18/3 is just 6x, right? And 12/3 is 4. See how we got that? We're not done, because we're saying that 6x plus 4, that has to equal 7x plus 1 for us to figure out what x is. Because we said right here, 2/3 of 9x plus 6 will give us KL. Here's my line skills again. So again, it's just algebra. We can take the 4 out, minus the 6. We minus the 6 out on both sides. Put out a little line there. That crosses out. Now we know that 4 is going to equal x plus 1. And if we minus 1 on both sides, we know that x equals 3. And if x equals 3, just plug in 3. So 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 equals 22. So that will be 22. And you know what LE is. Has to be half of that. Well, is it true? It should be 11. Well, let's see if it's true. Plug in 3. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 5 equals 11. It is true. And there you have it. So that's how we can find median lengths, different parts of the median lengths in a triangle.